But first of all, I want to say happy birthday to Karl Marx and happy Cinco de Mayo. It's the 5th of May. There was a great demonstration for May Day that just occurred, and it was a great step forward with organized labor, immigrant workers, Occupy Wall Street forces coming together. And it was Lenin who had that brilliance and that understanding of what capitalism had developed into. You know, Lenin really is an inspiration, but all throughout the history of the United States, all the people organizing for civil rights, all the most militant fighters in the labor movement, were all inspired by Marx and Lenin and by communism. And it was the Soviet Union that took a particular... So an email has recently come to light, an exchange between Jeffrey Leeds and former Secretary of State Colin Powell, in which he acknowledges that Israel has, quote, he says 200 nuclear weapons. And the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty has not been signed by Israel. Under U.S. law, the United States should cut off support to Israel because it's a nuclear power that has not signed the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, according to Colin Powell, correct?
Shouldn't you ask Colin Powell that? I'm not going to speak to this particular traffic, and I'm certainly not going to discuss.
Israel doesn't have nuclear weapons?
I'm certainly not going to discuss matters of intelligence from the podium.
Who is it who is assaulting and taking food out of the mouths of the children of public workers in this state right now? Is it the Occupy Wall Street activists? No. No. The Occupy Wall Street movement is a movement about stopping the grinding wheels of repression right now and stopping this attack on all working people in this country.
Every human being has a dream, and every dream has a fate. Some dreams accompany one till death, and some only for moments that just tickle him. But he will soon forget. Our dreams sometimes are like others have, but they may hate it or at least be indifferent towards it. Sometimes it is like something that we own and we are not aware of. And sometimes it does not exist, and we have just thought that others have. We're condemned to our mother's nationality, condemned to where we live, to live life that we spent and the footprints behind us. But I know one thing. We're free to have any hope, however far from the minds of others. The people I saw during this time had dreams of things that I already have. On the contrary, I wish I had the things that they have. But in fact, they didn't have. Every person has a dream. And I, the Iranian dream. Every day, millions and millions of letters are written and sent around the world. Some of the letters are written just for you, and some are open. Open or public letters are usually forgotten, because after a while you say to yourself, I am one of the thousands of people who will read it. What's written in it for me? But some of these open letters seem to be written for you yourself only, for every one of these people that have been addressed, for their own selves. These letters are not human, and we will never learn. A letter for you.
How are you?
I'm good. Good to see you.
Thanks.
Oh, thank you.
Mr. Kalapoffin, thanks again for coming to our news agency. May I ask you to introduce yourself?
Well, my name is Caleb Maupin. I live in New York City. I'm originally from Ohio.
Very good. Why have you come to Iran? Should we be waiting for another news about an American spying on Iran?
I don't think they would let me work for the CIA even if I wanted to. Even if I volunteered, they would probably not allow me to. And I understand why you would be concerned about that based on what's been happening lately with the U.S., based on these criminal sanctions and all of that. I can understand your concern.
Right. So I guess after the agreement made between Iran and the P5+1 in Switzerland, you've come to Iran to make some investments or sign some oil contract, right?
Well, I'm certainly not a businessman. I don't have any financial interest in things. I'm not here to make any money.
Is this for the tourist spots in Iran?
Well, I mean, you have a very, very beautiful city here. I mean, there's a lot of things to see, a lot of very beautiful sites, public gardens, parks. I mean, very amazing. But I wouldn't say I came here as a tourist. That wasn't the primary.
To some of the people, I was a stupid idler who had left the cradle of civilization behind and wasted my life. Or maybe it was just to get famous. It did not matter what image was created for my presence in Iran. The only thing that was important to me was that I kept my headline.
Somewhat difficult for me to understand that you know, everything is a matter of negotiation, and you know, I'm not used to that. I'm not used to that. In the U.S., the way we talk about money is very clear. You know, like when you go to a store, there's no haggling. You don't negotiate about the price. It has this price and you buy it. When someone's to be paid, they're paid this amount and that's that. But I noticed in Iran there's a lot more negotiation and back and forth, and things are much more, I don't know what the word is, but there's much more of a bargaining process, I guess you could say, when it comes to especially things related to money, whether you're buying something, whether you're doing something. It was interesting to see how passionate people were about politics and how willing they were to talk to me about it, because people were more than happy to give me their view. Everyone in Iran has an opinion. From the littlest child to the oldest man, they all have an opinion about politics. So one day we were in the bazaar. There were a couple Iranians who were giving me their opinion about politics, and I think they assumed that because I was from the United States that I had a pro-US government perspective. I think they assumed that I was like supporting Obama, supporting the government of the U.S. And so when they were telling me about politics, they became very angry and very fired up at me, and they were kind of yelling at me as if they were yelling at the government.
ما 25 تا 30% داشتیم غنی‌سازی می‌کردیم. ما این 25-30% الان کردیم به 3% تا 5%. آیا شما این امتیاز رو دادید؟ چیزی دیدی از آمریکا؟
من یه سوالی دارم.
من نگفتم هستین چیزه. من دارم میگم امتیاز دادی. چی گرفتی از آمریکا؟ هیچی ندیدی. آقا شما بگو من آقا مثال میگم من میام خونه شما یه شام میخورم. درسته امتیاز شام مهمون من کردی. شما در قبالتون یک سال چی میدید؟
اون درآمدی که ملت شما داره، ملت آمریکا داره، از خون و خونریزیه. اون درآمدی که ملت شما داره، دقت کن، کتاب بخون، تاریخو بخون، مطالعه کن. آمریکا هیچ چیزی نداره. تمامش با اختلاف انداختن.
And because of the translation issue, they couldn't really understand that I'm someone who opposes those policies. So I remember that was kind of an uncomfortable situation. I was told by one of my friends when I came here that they told me to be very careful how I acted, because they said if I broke any of the Islamic laws here in Iran that I would be stoned to death. We hear that in Iran it's illegal to wear blue jeans, that if you wear jeans in Iran you're arrested and put in jail.
So behind me are a group of students who are graduating from Tehran University. They're very happy, they're taking pictures, they're celebrating because they just graduated from the university here in Iran.
I recently read the letter of the Supreme Leader of the Islamic Republic of Iran, the letter he wrote to the youth of Europe and North America. It was very poetically worded, and it made me think many things, and it made me want to learn more about the Islamic Republic of Iran and learn more about your country, your revolution, your beliefs, and what the truth really is, because the letter pointed out that we really shouldn't trust U.S. media. So it was important to me to come to the Islamic Republic of Iran and try to find out more about your country.
Well, all across the internet there are millions of
اینترنت میلیون ها جوان هستن که این نامه رو در آمریکا مطالعه کردن چون میخوان حقیقت رو بدونند. بی نهایت هم که گفتم جوانان این کشور نسبت به سیاستمداران آمریکا کاملا تردید دارند، چون این کشور سعی میکنه که وجه بدی از اسلام نشون بده و اسلام هراسی رو ترویج بکنه.
In the United States, it is very hard to get information about the Supreme Leader. I read his letter to the youth of North America. And it really touched and moved me. But I know very little about him.
I am addressing you, the youth, not because I overlook your parents,
but rather because the future of your nations and your country will soon be in your hands.
And I also find that the sense of quest for truth is more rigorous and attentive in your hearts.
I would like to talk to you about Islam, particularly the image that is presented to you as Islam.
Receive knowledge of Islam from its primary and original sources.
Gain information about Islam through the Quran and the life of its prophet.
I would like to ask you whether you have directly read the Quran of the Muslims.
Have you studied the teachings of the Prophet of Islam and his humane ethical doctrines?
Have you ever asked yourself how and on the basis of which values has Islam established the greatest scientific and intellectual civilization of the world and raised the most distinguished scientists and intellectuals throughout several centuries?
I would like you not to allow the derogatory and offensive image buildings to create an emotional gulf between you and the reality, taking away the possibility of an impartial judgment from you.
Today, the communication media have removed the geographical borders.
Hence, don't allow them to besiege you with fabricated and mental borders.
About Islam, and I think the reason why so many are being prejudiced is not because they're bad people, it's just they're very ignorant about what Islam is really about. So I think what the work you do here is very great. If I want to learn about Islam, I think the best way is to go to read literature that is from Islam.
I went to the bookstores in Tehran, near Tehran University. And one thing I was really happy to see was there was such a variety of different books with different perspectives, you know. You had the far left, Marxist literature, you had right-wing literature, Islamic literature, Christian literature. There was a wide variety of religious and political views that you could find very easily at these bookstores. These were public bookstores. Any Iranian could walk into these bookstores and purchase any book that they had there in stock. Wow, children's books. Very cute. Oh, classics from the US. So I saw they had a lot of Iranian literature, but they also have some literature from the US. This is Uncle Tom's Cabin, a novel about the struggle to abolish slavery. It was very famous, played a very important role in US history. Now, it's interesting, they tell us in the US, I've heard so many times in the US that in Iran, reading the writings of Karl Marx is illegal. But when I walked into the store, I see them, not only are they not illegal, but they're very, very accessible. Here they've got, you know, Marx.
We have some books about Marx. Second book, third book, and fourth book.
Wow.
This is a series about Marx, Capital of Marx.
Oh, Capital, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
Yes.
I've read that in
it's
English.
It's about Capital, yes.
Hitler, yeah.
Hitler,
yeah.
And the America history, the America history.
Oh, really? Now, what book is this? This is American history.
Yes,
what is
Howard Zinn.
Oh, Howard Zinn, the People's History of the United States.
Yes,
yeah, I've read that book in the U.S. It's a very popular book. The People's History of the United States. Oh, I got to remember this. How you guys do the books is so different than we do. But yeah, you know why people in the U.S. like that book so much? It's because it's so opposite of what we're told in the schools and the universities. They don't teach us that. You know, what we learn in the schools and the universities, that's not what's in this book. This book is kind of the untold story of the U.S. You know, it's very well loved. Now, one thing you might be able to help me with, I don't know, I mean, I think you have mainly books that are in Farsi, Persian here. But before I leave, I really would like to get a copy of the writings of Imam Khomeini in English, you know. I'm trying to come to understand Iranian society and the revolution and it's very,
let me
the educational system is,
some of shelf.
Yeah.
I don't know. About Imam Khomeini.
Yeah.
This is about...
Oh, and that's in English.
The Islamic Revolution of Iran.
And it's by Imam Khomeini?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't have any books.
Okay.
Translated in English by Imam Khomeini. The role of Muslim women in development of societies.
Very interesting. I think that I want to buy this book.
Okay.
So how many? Can I buy it in dollars?
No. In real.
Only in real. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, I think I'll buy this. I want to learn about the Islamic Revolution of Iran. Okay.
53,000 months.
Okay. So I don't know what that exactly is. So I have. This is the Iranian money I have.
Okay.
Can you tell me if it's enough? Can you?
This for you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And I wish you the best of luck in your continued work at this lovely bookstore.
Thank you.
Great.
Sir.
And thank you for the book. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
And goodbye to you, and thanks.
Goodbye.
Have a nice time in Iran.
I will. Thanks. There are a lot of Iranian young people who are very, very interested in ideas, philosophy, and this is something we're not told in the U.S. In the U.S., they tell us, for example, that music is illegal in Iran. Well, it's not illegal to listen to music in Iran. There's music everywhere. Not just Iranian music, there's rock music, and American music is everywhere. Iran's largest religious festival coincided with the days of my presence in Iran. I just wanted to use this opportunity to have a little talk with people about the supreme leader of Iran and his letter. But everything does not always happen the way we expect. That night happened to me, and it was not what I expected at all. It's very difficult for me to really describe it. I don't think you can really understand what went on in that room until you're there. You have to be there to understand it. I was not expecting what I saw in that room, and I don't think I could ever really explain it to anyone. We're here in a very, very sacred place. This is Imam Zodi Ali Akbar, and there are celebrations going on. They haven't actually started yet. Celebrations for Imam Mahdi. He's the 12th Imam in Shia Islam, and he has left, but it is believed that he will return at the end of time along with Jesus Christ. The reason that I have come to Iran is because of the letter written by the Supreme Leader. The letter was directed at youth like me. I'm from the United States. And I was wondering if you had read the letter and what it meant to you.
اینکه شما آیا اون نامه رو متنش رو آشنا هستین و برای شما چه مفهومی داشته؟
در زمان صدر اسلام دعوت به اسلام از جانب پیغمبر یک کلمه بود: قولوا لا اله الا الله تفلحوا. بگین خدا یکیه، جز خدا خدایی نیست، رستگار بشین. و سوال میشد چرا باید بگیم خدا یکیه، غیر از اون خدا خدایی نیست؟ قرآن رو میذاشتن جلوش. حرکت رهبر معظم انقلاب خیلی ساده و خیلی هوشمندانه است. اگر حرف از رو صداقت باشه اصلا توضیح نداره. اگر حرف دروغ باشه هی باید یه دروغ دیگه بگیم بذاریم اونو جبرانش کنیم. این مقدمه رو عرض کردم که بگم من در مورد نامه رهبر معظم انقلاب هیچ چیزی نمیگم، فقط میگم حرف ایشونو گوش کنیم، برین یک بار قرآن همینطوری بخونیم. جوانای اروپا و امریکای شمالی بالاخره آدمایی هستن که تحصیل کردن، کاری نداره به عنوان وقت گذرونی بخونن، ضرر نمیکنه. فکر کنی یه فیلم داری نگاه میکنی. از معجزه قرآن اینه که حتما جذب خواهید شد. من خواهش میکنم یه بار برام بخونم، ضرر نمیکنه. خیلی خوش آمدید.
Very insightful words, and I thank you.
You're welcome.
Cardi May, he's known as kind of a very skilled singer. He does this kind of spiritual singing that they do here in Iran. It was a brief interaction I had with him, but it was a very, very good interaction. And I felt very welcomed. As somebody from the United States, as someone who's not a Muslim, to be taken into this holy place, this shrine, to be taken there, and taken all the way upstairs into the back room, where only the performers are, to be sat on a couch, given tea and chocolate candies, sitting there and to speak with this man who was such a prominent figure, such a well-known spiritual musician, to be able to just sit there and just have a chat with him. He then invited me, even though I'm a Christian and not a Muslim, to join the ceremony.
بله.
I just asked him if you can take part in the celebration that we have, and of course.
مراسم امام زمانه.
The celebration is just for the sake of him.
امام زمان منجی بشره. نجات دهنده مسلمان فقط نیست.
He's not just for Muslim.
تشریف بیارین خوشحال میشین.
Something special, something that you can't find anywhere else in the world. And if I try to explain it, if I try to, scientifically analyze it, that might take away from its power in a way. I would just urge people, I guess, to just, they'd have to experience it for themselves to really understand it.
دنیای و ماه به آسمون میاد به تن زمین دوباره جون میاد.
This room was full of passion, you know, and so much love and so much spirituality in that room, so much emotion. It was like nothing I've ever seen before anywhere. You know, even though I had a translator, and so I couldn't hear word for word what he was saying, I could emotionally understand what he was saying. They weren't looking at each other. They weren't looking at each other. It was like it was a spiritual experience. Being in that room was a spiritual experience. I know after I heard one song, my guide said to me, he said, "Do you want to go?" I said, "No, I want to stay. I want to see this." I mean, it was like nothing I'd ever felt. There was an energy in that room of all these men, you know, here in Iran, you know, full of energy, you know, having a relationship with God through music. It's a kind of spiritual, religious music that is about so much more than just the sound. To have that much love, you know, that much emotion, I could definitely see myself doing that. And there are other times in my life where I felt this way, you know, full of passion, you know, and it's very deep. When I get back, I'm going to read the Quran, all of it, every page. I need to learn about Islam. I need to understand Islam. I also want to read the Hadith so that I understand about the Imams and their history. Here we are in a very sacred place where so many people who gave their lives in support of the Islamic Revolution are buried. These men are shaheed, or martyrs, people who gave their lives in support of the Islamic Revolution. You can look at all of these faces here, and most of these men are people who signed up. They were people who signed up in the military to defend Iran's revolution during the Iraq-Iran War, fought and died to protect the revolution that Imam Khomeini led. But then you come over to these two. These two men, these weren't soldiers. These weren't people who were engaged in any kind of armed fighting. These two men were simply doing what many people do all over the world and doing scientific research. These were scientific researchers. These were people involved in science related to Iran's peaceful nuclear energy program. They were trying to help develop Iran's peaceful nuclear energy program, doing scientific research and investigation, and for that they were killed by the Israeli government in collaboration with terrorists. They killed these two men for doing nothing but trying to develop peaceful nuclear energy, build up their country, engaging in peaceful scientific research. These men were killed, murdered in their own country, simply for trying to engage in scientific research.
No, wait. I'm so emotionally involved that I forgot to define the principle. The film is still not over. Let us return once more to the holy shrine.
We're here in a very, very sacred place. This is Imam Zodi Ali Akbar, and there are celebrations going on. They haven't actually started yet. Celebrations for Imam Mahdi.
After the ceremony, I had a good chance to talk with some of the participants in the ceremony. With what was left of my trip, I still could not meet with the author of the letter.
I want to introduce myself first of all. My name's Caleb, and I'm from the United States. And I read the letter of the Supreme Leader to the youth of Europe and North America, and I've come to Iran to learn more about the Supreme Leader and the revolution. And if I wanted to meet the Supreme Leader, Khamenei, how would I do that? I really would like to meet the Supreme Leader. He seems like such an important figure in the history of Iran. What would I do if I wanted to meet the Supreme Leader?
It seemed there was no hope. But one of them suggested that I forget a private meeting with Iran's Supreme Leader, but meet him rather in a public ceremony. He suggested that the nearest one was the public ceremony on the anniversary of Imam Khomeini. I decided to take part in that ceremony. I set up a detailed email to the office of the Supreme Leader. I know that the time for coordination for the public and private is too short, so at least I could have been allowed foreign guests. There are still 3 days left until the meeting, and it was a good opportunity for me to complete my trip to Iran. As an American, I had many questions for the people in Iran. It was interesting for me to know when the government is negotiating with the U.S. How is it still one could be faced with an enemy of America in the city?
Hello. Salam. My name's Caleb. I'm from the United States. Do you think it's working out? The negotiations are working? Some Iranians thought the negotiations were good. Other Iranians thought they were not good. Some Iranians thought that Rouhani was doing a good job. Other Iranians thought that Ahmadinejad was better. There was difference of opinion, I noticed.
مذاکرات هسته‌ای از نظر من هیچ وقت به نتیجه نمیرسه چون اونی که اونور نشسته دنبال بهانه است.
آمریکا واقعا داره به ایران زور میگه، یعنی حرفاش اصلا بی منطقه. یعنی الان میاد میگه آقا ما کنار میاییم با هسته ایران قبول میکنیم، بعد 2 روز دیگه میرن تو کنگره خودشون میزنن زیر حرفاشون، یعنی هیچ گونه روشون نمیشه حساب باز کنه.
If you were to stand on a corner in the United States, and I've done this actually, I'm a reporter, so I have to go out and get what they call vox pops sometimes, where you have to ask people their opinion. A lot of people have no idea, don't care about politics, don't care about world events, have no idea what's going on, but the Iranians, so many people had an answer. Everyone anxious to give me their opinion. Well, let me tell you what I think. Well, let me tell you what I think. I'll tell you what I think. And there was a difference of opinion.
هر وقت که طرفدارای غرب تو ایران به تزلزل میافتن، شماها پیداتون میشین. میخواین اینا رو بلند کنید رو هوا.
As someone from the United States, it can be hard for people from the United States to deal with that. They hear slogans like "Death to America," "Down with USA." And they may think that they are personally being attacked. But I'm very educated about what my government does around the world. And I know they're not chanting against me, they're not chanting against my family or the people who live in my community. They're chanting against the government of the United States and what it does around the world, which is mass murder.
زمان گذشته دیگه ما به شما باج نمیدیم. بعد حرفای ما رو گوش کنید چون قبول نکنید از خلیج فارس هم بیرونتون میکنید.
ما امتیاز رو دادیم ولی یک امتیاز از طرف اونا به ما نیومده. ما 20% انرژی رو داشتیم غنی سازی می‌کردیم ولی الان داریم 3% می‌کنیم به خاطر اینکه ما دادیم امتیازامونو ولی از طرف امریکا ما امتیازی دیدیم.
نظر خود من آنچنان تغییر نکرده.
Today, we can say the most important role in the negotiations taking place between the United States and Iran is being played by the Supreme Leader. The Supreme Leader has allowed the government to experiment with negotiations with the United States. However, he's never allowed this to be considered the U.S. and Iran becoming friends. Today, the people of Iran, even more than in the past, do not trust the United States. Even if the sanctions are lifted, the imperialists will find another way. The imperialists, the Wall Street monopolists, as long as they exist, as long as Iran is on the revolutionary road, they're going to try to suppress it. Like, they don't want any independent country. And that's a mistake that I think that's a confusion that is kind of widespread. There have been a lot of leaders who lead independent countries who've been convinced that they can come to an understanding.
Right next to anti-American paintings, you can see a Catholic church on the street.
All right, so we're here at St. Sarkis Church. This is an Armenian Christian church here in Tehran. And today they're going to say prayers in honor of Imam Khomeini, the founder of the Islamic Republic. So I'm just going to go inside. And as much as Iran is very much an Islamic republic, and the government really bases itself on the Islamic religion, there are Zoroastrian Iranians, there are Christian Iranians, there are Iranian Jews who practice their religion very, very openly and are very free to practice their religious beliefs, hold ceremonies, worship in the way of their faith.
They tell me this is the water jug that people used to make in ancient times here in Iran. Now it's more of a kind of a decoration. Are you? I am. They really love tea in Iran. They really love tea in Iran. Almost every moment they're pouring me some tea and I'm drinking some tea. So, and we have some traditional Iranian clothing here. Very, very nice. This is a side of Iran that we never really get to see in the United States. Whenever we see images of Iran, we see pictures of people waving guns around or military things. We never get to see this kind of cultural side of the Iranian society, you know, this vast civilization, this vibrant civilization that is, you know, there's so much history about Iran that is never taught to us in the United States. This looks... I'm looking for some traditional Iranian clothes to wear while I'm here working on this film project. So could you help me with that?
من برای شما اینو ترجیح میدم. همین که کار خیلی خنکیه.
Very nice. Absolutely. Oh, you have a changing room. Oh, good. Good, good. Oh, perfect. All right. Well, all right. It's very nice. Very nice. I like it. So I should try this one now. I'm going to try this one on. It's very nice. Very nice. Yeah. I like it. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. It looks good. I like it. I think I'll take it. Looks good. This and this. Thank you very much. Tashakkur. These doors. Hello. So now we're headed to one of the wealthier sections of the city here in Tehran, where some of the younger people get together during the night and have their cars, show off their cars, kind of. And we're going to talk to some of the people here in this wealthier section of the city about what they think about the gap between the rich and poor here in Tehran.
Well, when I was in the north of Tehran, I saw a lot of very wealthy Iranians driving BMWs and Mercedes and eating hamburgers. And I talked with some of them. I was able to have some conversations.
Hello, my name is Caleb. I'm from the United States. Hey.
Hi, my friend.
My name is Caleb. What's your name?
My name is Irfan.
Okay, it's a very nice car.
Thank you.
Mercedes.
Yes,
sure. Can I get in here?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great, excellent. Thank you. Oh, it's so very nice seats. Oh, wow, look at this leather, yeah. So I've heard that there's kind of a growing gap between the rich and the poor in Iran, that there's a gap growing. Do you think that's true?
بله هستش. ولی پول توی کشور ما فراوونه زیاده. توی ایران همه چی خوبه. بعدم اینکه دوستای خوبی دارم.
Now, what do you think about the United States?
خب بالاخره آمریکایی کشور پیشرفته است. از نظر زندگی رفاهی فکر می‌کنم کشور خوبیه.
It just seemed to me they did not understand what the United States was really like. They really believe the propaganda that they're seeing on their satellite TVs. that they really believe that the U.S. is just a Disneyland playground where everyone's happy and wealthy all the time, and they are convinced that that's what the U.S. would bring to Iran. And I also tried to point out to them that the wealth of U.S. society it involved a lot of people being killed. A lot of people, millions of people were killed in order to keep the U.S. at the center of the world economy. They seemed uninterested in that. They didn't really want to hear about that. They didn't really care, and you know, they live in a fantasy land. And they're the most privileged people in Iranian society. They're people who, you know, their family has a lot of money from the capitalist sector of the Iranian economy, and they are deluding themselves, and they are convinced that they could be even richer if only Iran and the U.S. were to become great friends and the Iranian Revolution was to be overthrown. And they're wrong.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me get in your nice car. Very nice.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good evening, okay? Okay. Yeah, be well. Thanks. Thank you. Yep.
I don't think they really heard me. I think the satellite television and their frustrations and maybe what they've seen in the, you know, maybe they have a friend who's been to the U.S. or whatnot, and this has an impact. They don't know how it really is. They don't really understand, but, you know, that's the way they are. I wish I could make them understand it, but I don't think I will.
The appointed day came, and I could only get permission in the place of the foreign guests. I had hoped at least my location close to Iran's supreme leader.
I was successful. I saw the Supreme Leader. I was able to be just 200 feet away from him. I was able to look up at him right there on the balcony and see his face, see the face of the Iranian Revolution, and be in his presence. The first time that I teared up was when I saw, you know, the Supreme Leader and was able to look at him and just to see him come out and to just see his presence. He has this presence, like you could feel the difference. Even if I hadn't seen him, I would have known when he walked into the room and when he left, even if I were completely blind. You can feel his presence. But the second was to look out on the crowd of people and see, you know, how they responded to him and see how fired up. And I saw that that's who the Iranian Revolution was for. My Iranian dream was to look on the face of the Supreme Leader and see who it was who wrote that letter and come to understand what was behind that beautifully worded letter. Find out what was behind it. Find out what the society that has a leader like that is like. I felt like I was not just looking at the face of one man, I was looking at the face of the Iranian Revolution. I saw with my eyes the Iranian Revolution. I looked at it with my own eyes. I saw it with my eyes. I saw what this country is about and what it's fighting for. I saw it, all the passion of the people who unfurled those flags and screamed for Palestine, screamed death to America. This is what Iran has. This is the mission that Iran is on, struggling for independence. And the only thing I can hope for is that someday in the U.S. we can have a revolution like Iran had. That someday, you know, the Americans who are losing their jobs and are in a desperate economic situation because of the same class of bankers, that they can rise up. They can do what the Iranians did and rise up and fight back. You know, that would be so glorious if that could happen. That's a song from a different United States. You know, when people fought in the Civil War, they were fighting against slavery. They were fighting against injustice. It was a different time. You know, nowadays, U.S. soldiers are attacking countries, murdering people. That was a different time. That was a different period when you know, fighting as a soldier for the United States, waving the flag of the United States was a way to fight for justice. It was a way to oppose oppression. It was a way to stand with the oppressed. Very different time. I like the songs from the Civil War, you know, from that period, because they speak about a different United States, a United States that wasn't run by bankers and businessmen, but a United States where people still believed in justice and freedom. Yes, we'll rally round the flag, boys, rally once again, shouting the battle cry of freedom. Yes, we'll rally round the hillside, we'll rally from the plains, shouting the battle cry of freedom. You know, there's that. And then there's like a calmer one, they talk about we shall overcome, you know. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall live in peace someday. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. So